To be consumed by your fire.
You are keeping the conscience of the country going.
I always watch Johnnie's Bite.
The general watches Johnnie's Bite.
Every day.
Thank you very much.
And it's devoid of insults, but straight to the point, factual and fearless.
Charlie, no be joke. The pressure people like Johnnie can give you.
No.
You no get grey hair, you go get grey hair.
I'm innocent.
And that's what I'm saying, that the pressure Johnnie and his people, the pressure they can give you no get grey hair, you go get. So your best bet is not to have hair.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbanallah wa ni'mal wakeel. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows, and surely God's goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnnie's Bite. Let's first say thank you to Cocoa Dairy Free Coconut Milk. It's available at all Melcom supermarkets, NS Chemist shops, Opoku Trading Enterprise in Idum, Kumasi, Santex in Cape Coast, Bachona, Total, and all supermarkets across the country. You need to pick up your phone and make that call right now. Get Cocoa Dairy. It's energizing, it's refreshing, it's good for every member of the family. It's vegan, supportive, it has all the nutrients for every member of the family. Pick up the phone now, please, and call 027-444-0180. That's 027-444-0180. Visit any of our Facebook pages, Cocoa Dairy Free GH, and you get something special. It comes in various varieties, and I treat you and encourage you to enjoy it. This morning, I've come to talk about the concerns on the streets. And when I say hashtag, you say Johnnie's Bite. Hashtag Johnnie's Bite, a people's bite. Tell them we are back. Share, like, and make it go viral. The President of the Republic spoke on a radio station up north and flatly shut down all the calls that he should reshuffle. Calls from senior members within the party, calls from members of parliament, calls from, you heard the deputy minister who said that, look, if we're to vote today, the NPP will lose. You have heard the pastor. The president just shut it down, flat. And he shut it down on the basis that the people, and the story is here. Danny, open the story for me. Shut it down on the basis that the people who are perhaps asking for the reshuffle are either people who are looking for jobs or they're unemployed, and there are people who want to destabilize his government. Obviously, that would be the opposition, right? Now, so if we're asking for a reshuffle, number one, I am employed gainfully. I've called for a reshuffle. I am employed, so I'm not looking for a job. Number two, I don't intend in any way to destabilize the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. What will be the benefit? I'm Ghanaian, first of all, so I am interested in that. Now, it says, I will not heed to reshuffle calls to destabilize my government. This is on Graphic Online, by the way. It's a state-owned, so credibility is key. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has reacted to a public call for him to reshuffle his appointees, especially ministers of state, and says he has no immediate plans of heeding to those calls. To him, the output of the ministers were consistent with the expectations, and therefore there is no need to reshuffle them. Listen, it says to him, the output of the ministers were consistent with the expectations, and therefore there is no need to reshuffle them. For all you know, it is people who want to destabilize my government or people who are looking for jobs who are behind those calls, he said. People wanting to destabilize his government or people who are looking for jobs, that's what the president said. Now, let's interrogate this briefly. He says that the performance of the ministers are in sync with the expectations. Danny, take me back to 2017, 11th of January. The president had a unique style of announcing his ministers. Well, in the second term, he chose not to do it because we were going to use that as a yardstick. But I say that for every minister who has been retained or for every ministry that has a new minister, the same KPI from the first term will stand because we know the C. Danny, take me back and play for me Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta's video. The KPI that the president gave to him, okay? The expectation that the president had on our behalf. And then the delivery. Play.
He's arguably one of the most successful bankers in our country. An American educated. Columbia, Yale, the rest. Worked in Wall Street as a young man for Morgan Stanley and for Salomon Brothers. And when he returned here to Ghana in the late 80s, early 90s, combined with his partners to found what has become the most successful investment bank in our country, that is Data Bank. It's grown to have affiliates across the continent. So we have somebody who's been deeply involved in the economies, not just of Ghana, but of several countries on the continent, and has been successful in promoting investment and development in those economies. His reputation in international capital, money markets, very high. We want to get the Ghanaian economy fully back on track and developing so that we can create jobs and lift and raise the living standards of our people. We need an economist. We need somebody at finance who has the range, who has the capacity, and has the insight into how to move modern economies. I believe that most people who are dealing in the money market, the capital markets of our country, would acknowledge him as one of the outstanding figures in it. He, for the last 3 years, has done something I suspect many members of his family thought was a madness. He stepped down from his leadership of the Data Bank to follow me and give me his full support, and became chairman of the group that was raising money on my account, and has been an invaluable assistance to me these last few years. I believe he's exactly the right man to lead our country's economic revival, with the support and under the chairmanship of the Vice President and the Economic Management Committee. But he's one of those that I have assembled.
This was the KPI that the president gave to Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. Bring back the economy, because then the blame had been that the previous administration had mismanaged everything, chewed the meat to the bone. You heard all of that. So bring back the economy. Let it bounce back. They gave us the Yale, the Columbia, Harvard CV. They told us what was going to happen and everything else. 6 years on, what has been the scorecard? Because the president is talking about expectation and the deliverable. 6 years on, what has been the scorecard? We have borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed. 6 years on, what is the strength of our cedi against the dollar, pound, and euro? And these are the KPIs. And so when the president says that the expectations that they had are being met, and so he doesn't think that he must change the ministers, there is a problem. Because on the ground, and even within the NPP, people are asking questions. And I'm saying, this is what the president said. Now, let's use no personal attacks. Let's pick what the president said and measure it against the performance, and all the ministers had it. Measure it against the performance of the ministers. Then we, the people who voted for you, Mr. President, will say that expectations are being met because you are serving us. So yes, you say that you're the final authority. Then he pulled the preamble of the Constitution for me. The president has read the Constitution. He knows it as a lawyer. His advisors have seen the Constitution. They know it. And then he quickly pulled the preamble of the Constitution for me. Let's demonstrate this now. Now, it says here, the preamble of the 1992 Constitution, from which the president draws his power, where he says is the final authority. It says, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, in the name of the Almighty God, Nyamibeye economy, we, the people of Ghana, in exercise of our natural and inalienable right to establish a framework of government which shall secure for ourselves and posterity, the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunity, and prosperity, in a spirit of friendship and peace with all peoples of the world, and in solemn declaration and affirmation of our commitment to 1, freedom, justice, probity, and accountability. That's what the people are asking for now. The principle that, this is the most important part to me this morning, the principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people. Listen, the principle that all powers of government spring from the sovereign will of the people, the principle of universal adult suffrage, the rule of law, the protection and preservation of fundamental human rights, and freedoms and unity and stability for our nations, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. The principle that all powers emanate from the people, Mr. President. The power that you have emanated from the people. Then there's a dining table with the people under it and the ruling class on it. Put that up for me. When the people rise, Mr. President, this is it. This is what will happen. The people are down there. The people asking for reshuffle, who you say want to destabilize your government. The people asking for reshuffle, who say may be looking for jobs. Yes, of course, some are looking for jobs. Yesterday I mentioned that there's a creation of a Kufuor faction and there's a creation of an Akufo-Addo faction kind of thing that's happening. So even if the person is very well qualified, because they are not playing ball, they necessarily may not be getting a chance to serve. Oh yes, your party members say it, Mr. President. And I'm sure you've heard some. I'm sure that there are people in the Kufuor administration who still are around, who are not weak and frail, who can lend support to your government to deliver in certain quarters, in certain areas, but they have not been giving even an eye-to-eye view. Yes. So now, Mr. President, it appears that, respectfully, you are sounding more partisan than nationalistic. I beg you, Mr. President, I say you are sounding more partisan than nationalistic. You are talking about breaking the 8. You are talking about the next election. You are talking about handing over to an NPP president. And Mr. President, you told us that you are not even interested in a second term. Maybe you have forgotten. You told us that you are not interested in re-election. So how come now that a man who is not interested in re-election suddenly gets re-elected and gives us 4 more for Nana, 4 more to do more, and you championed it, 4 more for Nana, 4 more to do more. Now you are within the 4 more to do more, and now start the thing. You are within the 4 more to do more, and now you are telling us that you will hand over only to an MPP president. That's fine. That's good aspiration. I mean, which political party aspires for an election and decides to or chooses to lose or aspires to lose? But I'm saying that at this point, in this difficult moment, when you are telling us, Mr. President, that we are in a difficult time, you have refused to speak to the nation, to hold all of us and bring us to the center, Mr. President. You have been speaking in dispatches, and whenever you speak, it is stained with politics. That nationalistic tone is missing. And that's a problem, Mr. President. You see, now you're talking about the next election, but that's for those who live for elections once in every 4 years. But there are some of us who don't live for elections. We live for the nation. We live that people will have good water to drink, they have electricity, they have food, they have their rent or accommodation, people have enough disposable cash to save some. We live for that, a good educational system, a good healthcare system. That's what we live for. We don't live for the next election. And you see, the kind of support that Ghanaians gave you, Mr. President, before the 2016 election. In fact, when you tried first in 2008 and you were talking now about the fact that you won, you nearly broke the 8 in 2008. Well, you didn't break the 8 because eventually when we went to time, you lost. But I'm saying that you are reassuring and telling us that, oh, this is what is happening. You nearly broke the 8. The kind of vim and vigor that people pushed you with, Everybody thought you were the Messiah going to solve Ghana's problem. That goodwill, the goodwill that you had, has dwindled. I said, go onto the street, Mr. President. Even within your party, they say, Nana Dadaye. The goodwill that you had, and people thought that, well, this is the Messiah. Now people are saying that it's good we made you president because now we have seen what you also could do. Because people thought you were better than Jerry Rawlings, you were better than Mills, you were better than Kufuor, you were better than Mahama. That's what people thought. They said, this is the guy. Now the guy is in power. We have the men, some are area boys. We're looking for solutions now. We're not looking for the next election, Mr. President. I'm sorry. So if you're looking for people to support you in the 2024 election for the candidate that you will endorse, you don't know what tomorrow holds. The people need to be alive, well-fed, to be able to vote for you. So, Mr. President, please talk the talk. We need action now. Too much talk. When your people are suffering, your priority should not be the next election. It should be holding a public announcement, a public address, and be telling the people. And you keep telling us, oh, we will bounce back the economy. We will bounce back the economy. Have you told us how you will bounce back the economy? You have not told us how. And you are now, sorry to say, you are now sounding more like an opposition leader. You have power. You say you are the final authority. The people have given you their will. You have been sworn in as president. The next election now is not your priority. The next election now is to make sure that the children who can't find 97 pesos to be fed at the basic level will find that. The children who are eating cocoa sakura in secondary schools will stop. Your next priority should be that people should not get to the hospital and be told that there's no bed. Your next priority should be that the issues in Krobo land is fixed. Your next priority is like the people of Sancho Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi have an MP. Your next priority, those are the key indicators. Your next priority is that La General Hospital is built. Your next priority is that the hospitals that have been completed are open for public use. Your next priority is to fix the roads. Your next priority is not to be cutting short for projects that you know you won't complete. Because when you keep telling the people that we don't have money, we don't have money, we don't have money, and yet you are going around cutting sword, what money are you going to use to solve it? When the people are not eating, you are cutting sword for numerous projects. What's going on? And you see, that gives the people the impression that we have enough money, but the money is meant for certain things and not for the survival of the people. Maslow, he said in 1943, the basic needs of life, food, clothing, shelter. So, Mr. President, if the people are being subjected to extreme hardship, and your first thing is that you want to win the next election, your first thing is that I will not reshuffle my ministers. Was it not you, Mr. President, who told us that when you had over 120 ministers, you told us that you had the men and that you were confident that they were going to deliver? At the last election, you saw the 1 million votes halved. Your parliamentary seats, 169, brought down to 137. That's a strong message from the people to you. So I'm not interested. You said that you are not interested in re-election. You said that. And that you know how to bring the economy back, blah, 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 plenty, all of that. Sana, it is, I will marry you story. Sana, it is, I will marry you story. The typical young man who sees a girl, who's the girl, I'll marry her. Once they have sex and finish, marriage has ended. We should be interested in, Mr. President, you have broken so many eights. Petrol has broken the 8. Dollar has broken the 8. Bread and butter has broken the 8. Hearts have been broken 8 times. What 8 again do you want to break? You must fix the things that you have broken. Build a strong economy for the good of the people. Stop talking about elections, sir. Build an economy that can withstand shocks. Because if you told us that our economy was so strong prior to COVID, and then we just shut down Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kaswa for 3 weeks, and we are heaping all the problems onto COVID, Russia, and Ukraine, after we have borrowed all and touched even our stabilization fund, then our economy has a problem. And Mr. President, you promised us that the Gojisbekan economy was going to be a thing of the past, that we're going to move from taxation to production. These are the things I want you to pay attention to, sir. The very things that you told the people that they voted for you. It should be priority to you, because the people, I'm saying it again, the people must be alive, healthy and happy to queue to vote for you. May it not be that under your watch people had apathy towards an electioneering period or to express their civil responsibility or civic responsibility. We cannot have leaders who only have a preoccupation of the next election. People are suffering. The preoccupation is the next election. You have not spoken to the nation. You have not met journalists. You have not spoken to us as the father of the nation, as the final authority. And see, the people, the Ghanaian electors are becoming so sophisticated that the last MPP conference that you held should give you a signal, Mr. President. Fear delegates has gone beyond fear delegates. Now, fear-wise delegates. Because the trick of, it's getting to election, let's asphalt the roads, let's do the gutters, let's do this, that the people will come and vote. That thing is becoming a thing of the past. You know, Mr. President, they collected people's monies and voted against them at your party conference. They collected people's monies. They voted for them. They themselves came confessing that I paid 1,000, I paid this. They collected the money and voted against them. That's how the Ghanaian electorate is becoming. Because they know that you owe us roads, you owe us street lights, you owe us road markings, you owe us good water, you owe us electricity, you owe us this, you owe us that. Once you come and do it, thinking that they will vote for you because you did it closer to an electionary period, you'll be deceiving yourself, sir. And I'm saying, what legacy are you leaving, Bosu? Are you leaving a legacy of the man who is only interested in an election rather than the good of the people? Under President Kufuor, sir, you served as Foreign Affairs Minister, and then you served as Attorney General. There was reshuffle. You were a beneficiary of a reshuffle. Are you suggesting to us, the people of Ghana who voted for you, that the set of people you have now are the only qualified and competent hands? Even in our small companies, we don't keep one person at a place for so long. There's always a reshuffle, a change of a sort. Because when people stay at one place for a very long time, they become saturated, they lose ideas, they become complacent, they become dull, and they are not innovative. And that's what is happening. That is what is happening. You need to save your image and the image of the party, Mr. President. The respect that the people have for you, win it back, win the masses back. And not anybody who criticizes you or asks for a reshuffle is NDC. Or jobless. I have a job. I've asked for reshuffle. I have a job. A well-paying job, Mr. President. So this last-minute catch-up, Bosu, it will not work. Get on the ground, roll down your sleeves, and fix the country. Good morning, boss.
Welcome to NLA 590 Mobile. Today, we will discuss how you can win cash by playing 590 on your phone or online. Visit 590mobile.com.gh or dial *959# on any handset or network.